What was important to me beginning to work on this, and Chris Terrio, who I wrote it with, he and I began our conversations on The Rise of Skywalker, really asking ourselves, knowing everything we inherit, the 8 films that precede this one, what do we need to see? What do we want to see? What is the story that is being told in these, what would be 9 chapters? And how do we make it something that is both, thrilling and also deeply emotional, both spectacle and also really intimate. It's like terrifying and also family friendly. Like we had all these things we had to balance, and it was really about just, asking ourselves what delights us and what do we feel this movie should be. I think it's important for everyone to find their own theme in it. I will tell you that there are certain things that are hugely important to us, but when I think something is made that is made truthfully and a film that storytellers are doing their work to tell something that is true to them, usually that film resonates, and it's amazing that how many themes you can find for yourself. But I will say that one key thing here, and this is true I think in all the Star Wars movies, is that the family that you choose, the people that you are with, are really your true family, and that you are, what your choices are. You choose who you are, and I think there's something honest and profound and moving about that. I think that everything that we did on this movie was about trying to embrace and acknowledge what had come before, and then at the same time be cognizant that we were making a movie that needs to work on its own terms. It needs to be a movie that makes you feel, I think a lot of sequels or the continuations of stories make a mistake of assuming you care about the characters. This had to work on its own. We had to sort of reinvest in the characters. And it wasn't like there was a checklist of, we have to make sure we got her, we got to get him. This was about what feels like it's the right story in our bones, and whether or not, that's what works for other people is of course up to them. But it was not about saying, oh, we need to make sure we get this list of characters in the movie. It was who needs to be in the movie, who is determining for us that they're in the movie, as opposed to our choosing them. They're the greatest. I will say honestly that this cast is, I can only, how do I express it? I love these people who are in this movie. Like, I love them. To a person. I mean, it was just the greatest thing to go into this kind of, project. And Chris Terrio was saying that it's like, making a movie like this is a bit like, being in a war. You go to the front every day, and whatever happened the day before, you have to bring your best and your strongest and keep going. And to have these kind of, soldiers alongside you, these actors who are just so elevating the material all the time, so giving, so thoughtful, so wonderful together. Their alchemy is unmatched. And to see the performance that Daisy Ridley gives in this movie, it's something to behold. I mean, the range of emotion that she has to, communicate in the course of this film is, pretty vast and extraordinary, and she just killed it. So I can't say enough about all of them, especially Daisy, who's essentially in, nearly every scene in the film. One of the first things that crossed my mind when Kathy Kennedy called to ask if I'd come back to do this film was getting to work with John Williams again. The opportunity to collaborate with him, I would drop everything at any moment to get to do that. So, he is the best. He's an extraordinary man, not just a superheroic talent. And I cannot say enough. I can't wait for you to hear some of the new themes too. We knew we couldn't tell the story of this movie, wrap up the Skywalker saga, and not have Leia in the film. Not just because she was a Skywalker herself and leads the Resistance, but also because she's the mother of our villain. There was so much that connected to her, and we realized that we had footage from Force Awakens we could repurpose for this movie. So we wrote scenes entirely around her, what we had shot, and we approached them very much like shooting the other side of a scene with an actor that wasn't available. Meaning, sometimes in this film, Oscar couldn't be there on a certain day, or John couldn't, so we would shoot the other side of that scene. We did that with these scenes with Leia, only the side for Carrie had been shot 4 years earlier. So it was a bit of a puzzle. And had we had Carrie, of course, we would have done other things, additional things. But I think we're very lucky to have had the footage that we had to work with her. I mean, the thing that I'm proudest of isn't about me. It's about the work that this crew did. I can point to design and construction and painting and camera work, editorial, sound design, certainly the cast as well, performances everywhere I look in this movie. I'm just proud to be associated with these people who did a truly remarkable job. Everyone knew this was the end of the saga and we all needed to bring our best. And I think probably on every, in every department, at every level, there were people on every day that were in some kind of panic or uncertainty about how, and I think they would all look around as I did and take comfort in the company they were with. And I think that there's no way this movie could have gotten done without this exact group of people on camera and off, and I'm grateful to all of them.
Did you know that J.J. Abrams' directorial debut of a feature-length film was none other than the thrilling blockbuster Mission Impossible 3? With a budget of over $150 million, it was the most expensive film directed by a first-time director until Tron Legacy beat the record by $20 million 4 years later.